Good morning everybody, all the best Jewish Katam Shekadoshim V'Teurim. Parashat Shelach Lecha, the famous parasha on the spies, on the Meraglim, which a lot of questions are being raised, especially when we look in our parasha and then we look in Sefer Dvarim, the way the Torah describes what's happening with the Meraglim. In our parasha it looks like God himself is sending the Meraglim to go and tour the land. But in Sefer Dvarim, the people approached, the Am approached Moshe Rabbeinu, and the demand came from them and not from God. And it also is described in a different way, Vayachperu, like they digged out the land, there were spies. Here it's like there are tourists. Here, if we read what's written here, we understand that we have here the outside and the inside, and on a way to look at things from a lot of angles. וידבר השם משה לאמור, שלח לך, send, God is talking to Moses, telling, שלח לך אנשים, send people, ויתורו את הארץ, and they're going to tour the land of Canaan, אשר אני, the land that I'm going to give to the children of Israel, איש אחד במטה אבותיו תשלחו. By the way, there is an opinion that the Torah is just telling us here another important thing, because the land of Israel was very, like, the people were sitting there were very corrupt, and it was a problem. It says they were even worse than Egypt, and he wanted to send the people, and we see in a minute the people were the top people of the nation, to bring a little kedusha, a little holiness to the land. It's the same way that the preparation already started with Avraham Avinu coming to the land, and he also got an order going southward, going through the land, and while he was going through it, he was putting holiness in it and collecting all the bad things, whatever. I'm not going to go into it. It's Kabbalah, it's heavy stuff. But let's look at the picture the way it is, like from the outside, with a little understanding, because the Torah is not stories, it's telling us how to live our life and how to look at things. And ish echad kol nasi bahem, president, prince, וישלח אותם משה ממדבר פרן על פי השם. על פי השם. כולם אנשים, all of them are top people, ראשי בני ישראל הם. And then we have all the names. And then a few interesting things are happening. First of all, ויקרא משה להושע בן נון יהושע. He's changing the name of Hoshea and adds to his name a yud. וישלח אותם משה לתור את ארץ כנען ויאמר אליהם, and he tells them exactly what to do and where to go, and look at the land, how are the people there. And we want to understand what's going on here with Yoshua. Why is he changing him the name? And he's also blessing him and not blessing all the others. And the question is, why is he blessing Yoshua and not the others? And by the way, we had also Caleb. Why is Caleb not being blessed? And as we see that when they're going, when the Meraglim going to the land, and we see that Caleb ben Yefuneh, 1 minute, Vayalu b'negev, and they, like in plural, Yalu b'negev, and then it's written in singular, Vayavo. Mi ze Vayavo? Who is Vayavo? So Rashi is telling us, Vayavo Kalev levado alach sham. Kalev alone went to the Kivrei Avot, to the place where our ancestors were buried, Marat HaMachpelah, Avram, Yitzchak, and Yaakov, and he prayed to God that will help him not to be influenced by the spies. And here we understand there is a problem already from the beginning. And we have here two interesting things. Why is Moshe Rabbeinu blessing Yoshua and not Caleb? Why is Caleb going by himself and is praying for himself? And why isn't Moshe Rabbeinu blessing all the spies, all the people? They are top people. And here, just an insight for this, Yoshua ben Nun's got a problem. because he knows that the minute that Am Yisrael are going to go into Eretz Israel, it's going to be the end of Moshe Rabbeinu is going to die. And Moshe Rabbeinu is his rabbi, he wants Moshe Rabbeinu to live. That's, by the way, one of the interesting things is Shelach Lecha. You're sending them for your own favor, because God knew what they're going to do, and then Moshe Rabbeinu is going to have another 40 years to live. Anyway, Yoshua bin Nun knew that if Moshe Rabbeinu goes into the country, he will have a problem, because Moshe is going to die, because he cannot go into Eretz Israel. So he had made an idea in the head, and this is why Moshe Rabbeinu is blessing him, that maybe to tell bad things on Eretz Israel will help his Moshe Rabbeinu to live more years. There is another interesting thing, because he knew that Yoshua bin Nun he goes right against. If he's got an opinion, he's going against them. And they're going to say that the land is rotten, it's no good, Eretz Ochelet Yoshvea. He is going to go against them, and then they might kill him, because there are 10 people against one. So what's with Kalev ben Yefuneh? Why is he not blessing him? Because from the physical point of view, you can give a blessing. But from the spiritual point of view, Akol bidei shamayim, chutz mirat shamayim. The spiritual thing is in your hand. You cannot be blessed to be a holy guy, to be a spiritual guy. This is in your hand. Each one of us has got the power to be spiritual, to be holy, to elevate himself. All the other things are in the hand of God. Parnoso, success in the physical life, that's materialistic, that's all in the hands of God. But Yirat Shamayim, that's a different issue. That's why Moshe Rabbeinu cannot bless Kalev, because we're talking here about Yirat Shamayim. Kalev didn't have any problem with the others. Why didn't have any problems? And that's written when they're coming back. Kalev, 1 minute. ועבדי כלב עקב הייתה רוח אחרת עמו. What does it mean? He had the רוח אחרת. So Kalev was very clever. He knew that if he's going to say his opinions out loud, he is going to finish. So he hid his opinion, and he didn't say anything, and they all thought that he's a part of them. And that's, by the way, the reason that not Yoshua bin Nun is speaking, but Kalev and Yefuneh is speaking when they come back, and they let him speak, because they are sure that he's going to say what the other Meraglim said. It's going to even increase the thing, because Kalev and Yefuneh was a great guy. So he's going to help them with talking dirty and Lashon Hara on Eretz Israel. They didn't know that inside he wasn't with them at all. He was waiting for the right moment to come and attack. In other words, he didn't have any problem from the, let's say, from the physical point of view that they're going to kill him or hurt him. The only problem was that because he was with them, showing outside that he's together with them, the main problem was that they will influence him to go in the bad way, because the influence is there. And if you can say, okay, inside I think like that, but outside I'm acting like them, eventually it's going to affect you. And we see it in life. You know, we see the best people coming, for example, for politics, which is the best people. And after a while, we see they changed. And also people that get high-level jobs, they are so nice people before, and then suddenly they change. Why? What happened? The influence. So he was afraid of the influence on him, because from the outside he was together with them. Only from the inside he was against. So he asked for himself that God will help him to fight them and not being influenced from the bad environment that the Meraglim had, and their opinion, the bad opinion, and the Lashon Hara. And this is why they thought the whole way that he's with them. From the other side, Yoshua bin Nun, he was talking against them. He was right in front. And the question is, what is the best way? To hide your real opinion, or to show it off in a case like this? And the real thing is that we'll see in the parsha, sometimes Joshua is before Caleb, and sometimes Caleb is before Joshua. And so I think the Chafetz Chaim says is that sometimes you should act like Joshua bin Nun, and sometimes you should act like Caleb. Both ways are good, but it depends when and where. And we all know it in life. Sometimes you have to stand on your opinion, and sometimes you have to be quiet and wait for the right moment. And that's a big lesson for us to learn too. But still, we want to understand, how is it that those princes, those top people, are changing, talking badly on the promised land? He's asking them, you look if the land is good or not. What do you mean? What's good? Of course it's good. How can you even think about the land is bad? And this is also an interesting point. Why 12 people? We see in the Torah, 2 spies were sent and they were discovered in a few minutes. And here we have 12 people going for 40 days in Eretz Yisrael and nobody discovers them. Don't they see the miracles of what's happening? No, they see other things. They say levoyos because there were a lot of people there dying because they were a lot of levios, and this way they were busy with themselves and didn't see those 12 people going around the country. Anyway, with all due respect, we see that those top people that were sent al pi Hashem, they were chosen like the top people of the people, and 10 of them are going against, and they're coming back and they're telling bad things about Eretz Yisrael. Eretz Ochelet Yoshvea. So we saw, first of all, the way that Yoshua bin Nun was handling the situation, and the way Caleb ben Yefuneh was handling the situation. And this is why Yoshua bin Nun got a blessing from Moshe Rabbeinu, and Caleb ben Yefuneh didn't. Why didn't all the others get a blessing? Because, from this point of view that we said in the beginning, because Moshe Rabbeinu was afraid that the only one that's going to talk badly on Eretz Yisrael will be Yoshua bin Nun, because he didn't want Moshe Rabbeinu to die. So if they go into Eretz Yisrael, he's going to die. So he is the only one that's got a problem. That's why he blessed him and only him, and not all the others, because all the others were good people, top people, princes. He didn't worry about them. So we see that in each story there is so much to learn. From one side we see Yoshua bin Nun was blessed because it was a physical threat for him, because handling with them, going against them right in front. And Caleb ben Yefuneh wasn't blessed because this was a spiritual thing. From the other point of view, why didn't they bless all the Meraglim? Because they were good people, they were top people. So why did they bless Yoshua bin Nun from this point of view? As we said, because he was afraid that only Yoshua bin Nun is going to be the one who's going to talk against Eretz Yisrael, so to prevent Am Yisrael to go into Eretz Yisrael, which means that his rabbi, Moshe Rabbeinu, is going to live more years. And now we want to understand what really changed, or let's say, how did the Meraglim, those holy people that know that God promised, and after all the miracles that Am Yisrael saw, how could they go against Eretz Yisrael and talk? Because here is another thing. Because they understood that the minute they go into Eretz Yisrael, everything is going to change. What does it mean? It's not going to be anymore the spiritual situation that they had in the desert. In the desert, they had food from heaven, water from the well of Miriam. The desert was straightened for them. They didn't have to change clothes. Everything was from up there. Didn't have to do anything. But now, when you're going to Eretz Yisrael, it's all going to change. They are going to have to work for the parnasa. They're going to have to do ishtadlut. It's going to be this combination of the spiritual with the materialist, with the physical part. This is olam ha'asiyah. This is the world that we have to do. We work, and otherwise we have to put the spiritual thing in the daily thing, in the physical thing. It's this connection of the body with the soul, and this combination. They were afraid, the princes, that they're going to lose the job. Why? Because they were spiritual leaders. They were great rabbis, and they were very good for the desert, from the spiritual point of view, but now it's going to change. So maybe they're going to lose their job, and the job is going to be given to other people that know how to handle the physical world, the flesh and blood, working on the land and all the other stuff. And this was sitting behind them, and this is why they talked badly on Eretz Israel. They, by the way, we think that they were, but they were. You'd see also all the miracles. What was the idea? What gave them the idea that we have a problem going into Eretz Israel after all the miracles? Because what they meant when they says, "I'm," 1 minute. כי חזק ממנו וארץ אוכלת יושביה, אנשי מידות. And what we're talking here is from the spiritual point of view. They saw a corrupt society. And God said it, I'm going to take you to a land that this land is even more corrupt than Egypt. And they put it in their mind that they cannot go in. And this brings us to an interesting story. A guy wanted to buy a house. He had a lot of money. And he said, I want the biggest house, and this, and that, and that. And, you know, all those, all the dealers, all that were looking for him, all the real estate agents were looking, couldn't find anything that satisfied him. And then one day came to him one of the big real estate dealers, says, I've got a house for you in Caesarea. And he brings him to this beautiful house. Doesn't look so beautiful. Why? Because for many years, nobody was touching this house. It was neglected. The swimming pool was full with water, stinking water, and weed was growing everywhere. And when you opened the doors of the house, this big bad smell came out. So he says, are you crazy? Well, what are you bringing me? He says, well, what is it? You see, this house was closed, shut down for many, many years. They had a row on the Yerusha. And Baruch Hashem, they got to a solution, and now they're willing to sell. And you are afraid of what? All the doors and windows were closed. What do you think is going to happen for many years? No neglection. But let's open the doors, let's open the windows, let the air and the light come in, and you'll see what a beautiful house. And true it was. It's so, when you open and the air starts when it says, wow, all the air was really, and the light was showing a beautiful house. Yes, you need to deal with it, but it was a beautiful house with a good smell that came from outside. Says the Maggid Midubna, this is Mashal, that's Eretz Israel. Eretz Israel, many years, the people that were sitting there, it was a corrupt society. The corruption was so bad that it stinks, looked bad, felt bad, but the land, the Holy Land was waiting for Am Yisrael to come, to open the doors and let the air of Am Yisrael with the Torah go in and refresh the air and bring the Torah into Eretz Yisrael and the light of the Torah, and then you will see Eretz Zavat Chalav Udvash. Wow. And they didn't understand it because they had this in the subconscious, the idea that they're going to lose the job. So they were looking for the bad. That's why they turned, instead of tourists, to spies. And they looked at the bad side and not at the good side. And this is something very important in life. You have to be very careful when you have your own desire, and sometimes you are not aware that your desire is changing your mind and letting you see things that you shouldn't see, or look at things in a wrong way. And we can go on and turning. By the way, the fixing of the sin of the Meraglim is with the tzitzis that we have in the end of Parsha, and then it's written, V'lo taturu. They tore the land in a wrong way. They saw bad things in Eretz Israel, and to fix it, V'lo taturu achei levavchem v'achei einechem. You should not go after your heart and your eyes, after your desires. And the question here is, V'lo taturu achei levavchem v'achei einechem. It goes the opposite way. First of all, the eyes, enechem, see, and then the heart is working, the lust, the will. If you don't see it, what ta'ava have you got? What lust have you got? What desire have you got if you don't see what you want to desire? But that's again the point. In life, we see what we want to see, what we desire. In other words, the heart is leading us. And what we don't want to see, we don't see. And I'll tell you a short story with this with the end. Years ago, I put an ad in the paper. I was bringing orthopedic chairs, the best chairs in the world, let's say. That's the way I think. And I was thinking how to put an advertisement that will bring people. So I put a picture of a plane and a chair, and I wrote, sitting in the first class. Hardly an effect. And this advertisement guy came to me to the shop one day, and I was asking, why wasn't it good? He says, what are you trying to sell? He says, what do you mean? The best orthopedic chairs in the world. It prevents backaches, it solves backaches, it's unbelievable. He says, so why don't you write it? What did you put? You put a plane. A plane? People think you're selling plane tickets. He says, what do you mean? He says, took a paper, says, look at the paper, look at the pictures. Okay, I looked through it. He says, now tell me, how many ads did you see about mattresses? I said, maybe one. He says, now look in the paper again and tell me how many ads you have on mattresses. You know what? Much more than one. He says, you see, you didn't look for mattresses because you're not interested in mattresses right now. So that's why you didn't see all those mattresses ads. But the minute you looked for them, you saw them. So you have to understand, if somebody is looking for orthopedic chairs, he's got backaches, he is not looking at your ad, because your ad shows a plane. You have to show a picture of a chair with a guy sitting on it and rating the best chairs in the world, solving the problems of the backaches, and etc., etc. And this taught me a lesson for life. This is exactly what happened with the Meraglim. They saw what they wanted to see. They wanted to see things that are not going to change their, let's say, their what they was, the being princes, and they wanted to stay on top. And they thought that they were going to lose everything the minute they're going into everything. And that's why they saw what they wanted to see and not what they should have seen. From the other side, Yoshua bin Nun, Caleb and Ephraim, they saw the right thing because they were going with the way of the Torah, with the truth, with no thinking about themselves, with no ego trip. And this is in life to remember. First of all, don't dare talk badly on Eretz Israel. And don't listen to all those around us that talk badly about what's happening. We go in the way of God, and God promised us the land of Eretz Zavat Chalav Udvash, milk and honey. That's what it is, the Holy Land. And if we go in the way of the Torah, Bezrat Hashem, we will win all our enemies and will come to the Geulah Shlema B'Mirabi Ameinu Amen.